alright over there, Mr. Kearney? You look as if you're having a wee daydream.
Oh, let's begin with where am I?
We're in school, we're making this podcast with the kids.
I forgot. Oh, I was having such a good wee dream there. I was dreaming, just lying on the beach. And it was fantastic. It was on holiday and my family and sun's shining and it's just a wee breeze coming in, Miss McGinley.
Sounds like a great time, Mr. Kearney.
What is it now? What's happening?
We're in school, we're having to make this podcast, all the COVID and everything. What's going on?
No, I forgot about that COVID. Oh no.
Still here.
Oh, I wish I could go back into my dream. Oh man, it's pouring out there. Oh man.
Not for long, Mr. Kearney, we're getting to the good times.
What's that song on? What's that name of that song?
It's one of my favourites.
That was in my dream. What's it called?
It's Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Oh, I like that. Don't worry, be happy. Why do we not make a podcast about that?
Why don't we? Why don't we make this podcast about that?
It's brilliant. I love
Sorted.
it. It's happening. I love it.
There we go. We're so proud of all the amazing work we've been getting from lots of our pupils over the past few weeks, and we really appreciate all that work. But we know from the feedback that we're getting during our live lessons that people are still going through really tough times, life is still difficult, and many people are struggling.
Yeah, sometimes when I ask pupils how they're doing, they'll just say, all right. And, there's a lot of stuff behind that, so it can be illness or people have relatives that have died even. Folk have lost work or folk are finding it hard with money or all sorts of problems. I just couldn't imagine how in my house there are 11 of us, how my mum and dad would have coped with us all in the house all the time. So it's a real issue for people and people rightly aren't feeling too good. Some people aren't feeling too good about this. So we thought we would try and do something a wee bit different. And so what do you think the task is going to be, Miss McGinley? Could you explain the task for us? Oh, I love that sound of laughter, Miss McGinley. The only thing is, nobody ever laughs at my patter.
Oh, Mr. Kearney, I sometimes laugh at your patter.
Oh no, but I think you just say that because you're so kind. Anyway, Miss McGinley, what's the task here?
Our task for this week is for the pupils to send us over their own joke to make us laugh. Because we're always trying to make them laugh, Mr. Kearney, so I think it'd be good for us to hear some of their jokes.
Oh, that'd be great. I remember we did that before. Some of the pupils sent in a joke as homework, and that would be brilliant. So they don't have to make up a joke, no?
No, they don't have to make up a joke. They just have to share a joke that they know.
Oh, so they could, how are they going to do it?
So what they're going to do is they're going to find a joke. They can maybe ask a friend or a family member if they've got any jokes, or they could even look online. There's lots of jokes online. And once they find their joke, Mr. Kearney, they're going to send it to their teacher, and their email address will be posted along with this podcast.
And so, but can they do it live for us?
Oh, yes. They can create their very own podcast, and they could send us the voice note with the joke in it. That would be great. Or they could send us it in a Word document.
So we can take this and then we're going to make our podcast the following week. Our podcast is going to be a podcast of jokes to bring a wee bit of joy and laughter to our world. And imagine that. I'd love that when I was at school. What's the class today? Jokes. Oh, fantastic. I'm in the element here. So that's what's happening then.
That is what's happening.
And we'll put their joke on their name. They can tell us if they want their name or initial.
Yep.
And their joke in their name, or their podcast in their name, and we'll string them together. And that would be amazing. Oh, I'm so looking forward to getting new material, Miss McGinley.
I can't wait to hear some of these jokes.
Desperate.
Gives me a break from hearing some of yours, Mr.
Oh,
Kearney.
new material. Oh, what a godsend this is. I'm so looking forward to getting these jokes, Miss McGinley. And I think I've learned that in my life. If you're going through a hard time, and sometimes I've gone through a hard time, believe it or not, I know I look so young and everything like that, no stress lines, but sometimes life has been a wee bit tough. And what gets you through it is looking forward, having things to look forward to, better times ahead. Is there anything you're looking forward to this year, Miss McGinley?
I think there's lots of things I'm looking forward to, Mr. Kearney, but my top think my top thing that I'm looking forward to has definitely got to be the wedding. The kids will be sick of hearing me talk about this wedding. I feel as if I've been talking about it for years now, but it'll be happening this year. I think that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to. And the return to some kind of normality, going out with friends, finally being able to take Gabriel to the soft play that he's been begging to go to. The little things in life are the things that I'm looking forward to getting back. What about you, Mr. Kearney?
Oh, well, I know this sounds tiny. Obviously, I'm looking forward to seeing family and friends, but I can't wait to have a football match on and there's real crowd noise rather than this canned crowd noise, you know. So there's no atmosphere watching the football now. So, but mind you, I just watch it anyway, you know, but do a wee bit of penance for Lent. So, but this reminds me of the church has always got a great amount of hope, and there's a difference between just positive thinking and the hope that God gives us. You know, positive thinking's okay, but God gives us real hope because he died, Jesus died for us, and our hope is secure. And I think about when I was young, I heard about this Saint Lawrence, I think his name was, and he was a deacon, and I don't know, they were persecuting him, the church was being persecuted and people were being killed. And the mayor of this town said he thought the Christians had lots of treasure, and they said, you've got 3 days to get all the treasure and bring it to me, otherwise I'm going to kill you. And what happened with him, St. Lawrence prayed about it, and 3 days later he turned up in the court with all the poor people of the town and all the folk with illnesses, and he just went, and the mayor went mental and said, where's all the riches? He said, this is the riches of the church. The people are the riches of the church. This is our wealth. And straight away he ordered him to be burnt. And how he was burnt was to torture him. It was a fire was lit under this grill when he was putting this toaster like barbecued. And apparently after a wee minute or two he shouted over to the mayor, I'm fine now, you can turn me over, I'm toasted enough on that side, so I'm ready to turn over. And what it was, he had such belief that he was going to heaven and going to God that nothing would upset him. And I think we should be like that, Miss McGinley. We should hold on to God. God loves us and God looks after us.
Over the past year, we've missed out on so much. Something that we'll never miss out on is God's love. God's love has been here through the hardest times, through the pandemic, and even before the pandemic. God's love for us has always been there. It's something that we will never lose, and we could never lose no matter what we do. God loves us and wants to be with us always. And I think that's something that should give us all peace in our hearts and bring us all joy even in the hardest of times.
Yeah, Miss McGinley, I started off in my wee dream about being on the beach, but you know, that's nice and all that, and I'm sure it'll be lovely when it comes, but the joy that Jesus gives us is something way, way, way deeper. And it's not just for a fortnight or a week, it lasts for a whole life, and it lasts for eternity. Remember, the word gospel means good news, and the good news is that Jesus does love us, and God loves us. So that's what keeps us going. That's what gives us hope in the last time. And as this Divine Mercy image says, the words are, Jesus, I trust you, I trust in you. Thank you for all your love.